All right, today we are putting the rear end housing into the 63 Galexie. Got them both laid out here on the ground. This is the 63 427 housing. That is the 63 390 housing out of the four-door. This is a big bearing housing, the black one. This is a small bearing, and I got the axles there to compare, so we'll take a look at that. So you can see the difference. On into this housing here, you can see the way that swells out right here, bumps out. That's a big bearing. When you look at this housing here, it is basically smooth across there. Right across here, it's just smooth. So you can tell that's a small bearing housing. And I got both axles here laid out. Press these on. Right about 3 1/8 is what that big bearing measures. But this one here is considerably smaller at 2 3/4. And this axle itself is 1 3/8. And this big axle here for the big bearing, 1.5 inches. So a lot bigger on the big bearing axles, housings. Everything's just a little bigger. These would have been, I think, truck, station wagons, 427s. But then here, it's my understanding too that these smaller bearings on the 9 inches were actually used in like the 428 Shelby's had the small bearing axle. So I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that the small bearings are bad and you're going to have failure, but I guess if you got a choice and you can find a big bearing and build a big bearing, why not? That's what we're going with. We're putting the 427 housing back with the 427 car here. And I'll show you the third member. This actually is 63 nodular iron center section here. The actual case itself, there is no N on these early ones. They did not have an N in here, but per the numbers, my buddy Eric found me this. Eric J, Tall Eric with the Corvette, he found this for me. It would be the correct center section for the 427 Q code that we're building. He gave me a heck of a deal on it, what he paid for it, so it's great to have that because somebody had taken the original center section out of the car. This is a 3.0 gear ratio I put in there with a Detroit locker. So when the old man's doing burnouts, they'll both, two wheels going, there'll be wheels will be spinning, both of them. Double rubber, as they say. So we're getting there. We got Steve Rhodes over in the chair, my main man right there, driving the cool truck. He's here today. So we're going to slide this housing in the car and try to move forward if we can. So that's the plan. Big day today. Actually putting back on instead of taking off. It's always a win. Well, we got her in there. The nuts are all Loctited down on the U-bolts. I still need to clean the inside of the tubes real good with some brake clean. I'll do that before I put the center chunk in. Getting closer, one more piece of the puzzle here. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to use the snout. This is this came off the four-door 9-inch, and it actually hits the floor. There's a plate up there, right there in the center where it hits as it's rotating. Keeps from springs from wrapping, I'm pretty sure, is what that does under hard acceleration. But I'd like to use some slapper bars that mount there under the front of the leaf spring with a rubber stopper to keep springs from wrapping up under hard acceleration and burnouts from wheel hopping. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this or not, but I got it in case. I gotta phone a friend in, I gotta text out to see if we need to use that or not. Things are coming together here. Next step is to clean the housing, get the center section in, slide the axles in, then start doing the rear brakes. Coming together, and then start on the front then. Front brakes and front suspension. I got to do an idler arm, grease everything, make sure that's good to go, and then I'm probably going to start on the changing the master cylinder to a 2-chamber, I guess you want to call it. Right now it's got the single with the big round cap on it, so I'm going to put a 67 Mustang 4-wheel drum master cylinder on it, and then put a Willwood proportioning valve on it and get the brakes all working as well. So that's kind of the next on the list, as well as I have to finish welding this thing up. Still got some pieces here and there that need to be fixed and added and trimmed, and then maybe start doing patch panels. So the weather's cooled off here, and we're towards spending more time over here with the parents and working on this thing in the driveway. Had a great day today. It's beautiful weather. Steve Rhodes came by, and my buddy Jason Lear, he came by, having a good time. So thanks for joining. We'll catch you next time at South Omaha Speed.